Hi guys, and welcome to this new training session of the GORI Valley mission development. This concerns iteration 4. I'm skipping for a minute iteration 3, where I'm going to explain the SA6 activation through transportation of engineers to the SA6 launch sites. This explanation is going to document new features that are upcoming in release 2.1, which is the transportation of cargo through helicopters or any other carrier that you can apply. Let's jump to the GORI Valley mission. So when we go through the briefing of the GORI Valley mission, there is a blue briefing and a red briefing, and in this session we're going to focus for the CCCP objectives. There is a primary mission, tactical, operational, and another operational, and we're going to focus in this training on this operational mission. What we're going to do is there are SA6 sites which are launchers, and they are deactivated. We need to have 2 pickup centers, actually 3 I'm going to model, so I'll modify this text a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Mi-8 helicopters. We're going to load the engineers from these pickup centers. And once the engineers are loaded in the helicopter, we're going to fly to one of the 3 SA6 launcher sites. The engineers have some launch codes that are required to be delivered. And, the Mi-8, is a transport helicopter, so it can be used to pick up these infantry or engineering units and fly them to the SA6 installations. And once these engineers are deployed at the SA6 launch site, then the SA6 will be activated and will start defending the airspace. So this is the GORI Valley mission. Just for a short introduction, I split my screen in 2 so I can have the script here and I can have the mission there. And later when I'm flying, I can have the log here so that, you see the messages appearing while flying. So let's have a look at the mission. So as I explained, the GORI Valley mission quickly has, it's quite a dynamic mission. So the idea is to have, air defenses from the north, air defenses for blue from these sites and these sites. And here's where the battle is ongoing. You got the Russian ground troops going for GORI, and you got the GORI locations still controlled by NATO defending the Skin Valley. Intruders. There's been quite a lot of clutter, as you can see. There are many other sites in there, but what I've done is I've hidden those so that you don't see all the other unnecessary let's say I've hidden most of the unnecessary units, so that the explanation here can be done properly. So let's go to Skin Valley. That's where we have the helicopters that will pick up the SA6, and these are named, there are 4 groups with the name RU SA6 Transport 2 Hot, Transport 1 Hot. I put ampersand hot or ampersand ramp at the end of the group name to indicate the location from where the takeoff is going on. And this is really useful when you have a player who gets the overview of the different units that he can join, so the different slots. He sees immediately which kind of unit that is and from where it is taking off. So the RU SA6 transport helicopters, I got 4 of them. So when I go here and I do Russia, then I have SA1, 2, 3, 4. So the mission is to pick up with those helicopters engineers. And what I've done is I've taken infantry units, actually a group of infantry, as the cargo. I got excuse me, I got 3 different cargo groups defined, and they are named RU M4 Engineers Alpha, RU Engineers Alpha Beta, when you look at the cargo, they are not blade activated for the moment. They're not input transportable. I don't use this flag because I have my own cargo mechanisms for the moment. This is for sling loading and stuff. But when I'm having here I'm having here normal groups defined that can be picked up by those helicopters. And what the script will do, what the task will do, is it will give a mission, a task, and it will direct you to those cargoes. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have a short demonstration. I'm going to fly this mission and show you what's happening on the screen, so you can better follow later when we design the mission what is going to happen and what needs to be designed. Okay, so here we are in the mission. I'm going to select the red plane, this one. This will kick me off in an Mi-8 on a hot spot, waiting to be taking off. First thing I need to do is I need to select the command center. Then in the command center you now have the mission engineers SA6, which is an operational task being registered. I go to planned tasks, and there's a transport task there. This is the transport task, transport SA engineers. There are 0 players in it. I select it, and then I do F2, join task. So what I get now is a briefing. It tells me I have a team alpha, at this coordinate, a team beta and a team gamma. And to the coalition is sent that the task transport has been assigned. Okay, which means that there's a player in it, but of course this is a cooperative mission, so other players can join as well. So now when you go back to the menu, you see an F3 menu here, right? So I'm going to select it, and now I can say, okay, route me to the cargo team alpha. So this is what I'm going to do. So let me fly to team alpha. I need to start up slowly. An Mi-8 is a truck, a big truck, and you really need to fly it very carefully. Not overpower the engines or anything, and just smoothly fly towards your location. So we have arrived. I am near the landing site, so I'm going to do a small tour here to bleed off airspeed, and always keep your eye on the descent rate. Keep it between 0 and 5 meters per second. Keep some airspeed and just make sure you are landing and that your helicopter is not shivering. Try to get a good hover. There you go. And now we're on the ground, so now I can slowly and steadily just go towards those guys to get them boarded. You don't need to be really close to them, but I want to show you what happens when you board. So I want to get a bit closer. Okay. This should be okay. So get on the ground. Good. Okay, so I'm landed. Here we are. And now I can select F3 again, and now I can do board those guys. So you will see them, you know, they start running towards your helicopter. You will see them boarding one by one. It's not like they jump, you know, all at the same time into your carrier. No, they go one by one. So here we are, boarded, and now I can select one of those 3 deploy zones. So I'm going again to the F3 menu, and I'm going to select route number 2, Nijish or something, 2.37 kilometers away. Let me slowly get back into the air. One of the pity things that is not available in multiplayer or in the API of DCS is that when you can't really simulate cargo being boarded in your helicopter. You can't, you know, the behavior of your helicopter would change if your helicopter increases weight. If it becomes heavier, the whole aerodynamic reaction, you know, behavior of your helicopter will change. And I really hope that DCS in the future is going to really consider adding this, because this would even bring more simulation fun to the community. So now I'm flying to the SA6 launch site, which is there in the distance. I'm going to bleed off already some airspeed, and you know, once we are there, I'm gonna land the helicopter near the SA6 launchers, and then I can easily onboard those engineers, get them to the to those launchers. And you see a Patriot is being fired at me. It doesn't matter, he's still far. Okay, so there we are. Let me get this thing on the ground. I'm gonna shut up a bit, just keep silent and just get this thing landed. I can't talk and fly at the same time, it's impossible. Maybe you can, but I can't. Okay, so I'm gonna try again to give you a good view on those launchers, what they will do once the engineers get into the launcher site. Okay, cool. Come on, man. Okay, landed. Not really perfect. Can I tweak it a bit? Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So now, again to the F3 menu. And now I can, and now I can onboard Team Alpha. So now they are onboarding, and you see them running towards the deployment site. And once they have arrived, yeah, you see them, you know, going one by one, which is unique in DCS. I don't think anybody has achieved this. So now that the deployment has happened, the codes have been handed over to those launchers, and I've modeled in my mission that those launchers get activated automatically, and they just, you know, the SAM site is now active, and this brings additional air defenses for my GORI Valley mission on the red side. In a similar fashion, I have designed on the blue side, same setup, but they're not with SA6 SAMs, but with Patriot batteries. I really like the SA6, to be honest. It's well, it's kind of a visual thing, and look at the beauty of these models that DCS has made. We'll add, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this demo. Now let me get, this is not a, you know, a mission demonstration, just how to play it. This is about explaining the code, how to build such a thing. And let me explain you know, the different objects and components which are at play when you look at this mission here, at the scripting here. Yeah, I mean, okay. Right, so let me explain this, how this is working. Transport mission. It's very easy actually. First thing you need to do is you need to set up a command center. So there is a class in Moose called command center. Let me click on this. What is that? Yep, command center here. And what it needs a group here. Right? So a group is nothing more than a wrapper class, contains a lot of methods to, you know, get a group, the Russia command center. My command center in my mission is located, as I believe, here, but it's hidden. What is it? Russia command center? Let me find it for you. Russia command center. It's there. Okay. So you just provide the group name. You provide it here and you're done. There are plenty of examples in other videos to explain this. Have a look at, you know, spawn or anything and you'll get it. Okay, CCRU. This is going to be the object that contains my command center, and the command center is a new method. Let me type this in for you so that you can follow what happens when you really code this. So you do equal command center, double point, and then new, and you select this one. There are a couple of parameters here. There's a command center positionable, which is basically the group, right? And a command center name, which is Skin Valley. Remember that when a message appeared, it said Skin Valley in between brackets. So when the command center is sending a message, then the Skin Valley text is shown. Right. The next thing is I've done a do end block here, which you can always do in Lua. The next thing that I'm doing is I'm setting up a mission. And a mission is basically, you know, it takes part in a command center. So a command center can have multiple missions. And this mission, the new method of the mission is always the same. It has a command center name, a command center object, a mission name, a mission priority, which is a free text string indicating, you know, is it primary, secondary, first, second, operational, tactical. It's a free format. A mission briefing, which is a text that explains what the mission is about and explains as well the mission goals, so what needs to be achieved. And a mission coalition, which is for which party is this command center acting. And this is important. You can send messages to groups or to a coalition automatically from a command center using the APIs. And this is my example. So I've set up an Engineers SA6 mission. Remember when you went through the menus, you can have a look back to the video. It says Engineers SA6 operational, and then a briefing which you can get through the report, and then a coalition side red. And the next thing is, what I want to do is now, in that mission, I want to set up a transport task. And this is this one here. The transport task, to set it up, has a new constructor again, and has a couple of variables. The first is the task takes place in the mission that you've set up. So this object here is the first parameter here, right? Then a set group, and the set group is a set of groups, so it's a collection of group objects for to which the task can be assigned. And this is an interesting one. So the set group object models a set of, like this, group objects internally. It gets dynamically populated, and the filter prefixes API, you know, says put all of the groups in my mission that start with the name RU SA6 transport. And let's have a look to where those things are. They are here. So anything, look what the name is about. So the group name, if your group name starts with RU SA6 transport, right, then that group will be added to that set here, which is then given as a parameter to the transport task. Note that you can add suffixes, yeah, right, to that name. It doesn't matter. Those, you know, those groups will be added. Now these are client groups. So these are groups with a client in it. Means a player can join. And this has to be set like this. Don't use set client, because set client, you know, as an object, is another object in Moose called set client. Don't use that, because that models units. We want to have groups here. Important. As a consequence, you can add multiple helicopters in one group, but the second helicopter should be an AI. There is no, or not yet, a possibility to have two human players being active in one group. Another thing that is important is you need to ensure that your first unit of your group is the client. The second, third, fourth can be AI, must be AI. And don't make, for example, the second unit the client, because it won't work then, the framework. Okay, so these are the restrictions. For the rest, this is very easy and very transparent. So as a result, you know, when you look at the mission setup here for red, you will see 4 helicopters here. And I do have this standard in my mission design that I say at ramp, indicating that this one is taking off from a ramp. This one is taking off from a parking hotspot, right? Which helps me in my mission design. Okay, so that's that. Look at the advantage of a collection. You don't really need to specify in, you know, exactly by name those clients you want to have within the tasking. You can have this dynamically defined. The filter start method is an important one, because this one ensures that the collection set group is dynamically maintained. That means that new clients get born, or new groups get born, groups, you know, crash or get dead, whatever, then those will be automatically removed from the set group. This is important. All right, so it's a bit technical, but you should be aware of that. Let's go back to the transport task, new. So as we were saying, we have the mission object, the set group object, and then the third parameter is the task name. The task name appears also in the menu. So when you go, you know, command center in the menu, then mission, then it says planned tasks. So you click on planned tasks, and planned tasks are those tasks which are not yet assigned, they are planned. Then you will get a transport task, right? And then a transport task is automatically set because this is a transport task. So this class knows I'm a transport task, and it will assign to the tasking mechanism the type transport to be set for that task here. And then the third parameter here is then the name of the transport task, transport SA6 engineers. And then the last one is a very important parameter, and this one is also a set. And this is a set of cargo. So what you do here is the same like this one, but now you say, give me, you know, put me in that set all of the cargo objects that have a type RU-M4 engineers. And where are these? Well, below here you got cargo group, which is another class, and the cargo group is basically modeling a group of units in your mission, right? And that has a name, and let me a bit get here that you can see the code a bit better. Yeah, okay, fine. So now I don't know how to do this. Let me do this. Yeah. So now you can see that the cargo group new constructor has this name, RU-M4 engineers alpha. So are you M4 Engineers Alpha? I'm searching for the group, find by name here, returns me a group object, and that's the first parameter of the cargo group class to be created. So the cargo group. The type of the group should be that name, because you want to ensure that the filter types, right, are you M4 Engineers, is being added to that cargo set. And then you can give a name of the cargo, Team Alpha, and then a range. And a range is basically the radius around this cargo object that is virtually drawn when there's a carrier or you know, you as a pilot, if you get within 500 meters from this cargo, then the red smoke will appear and the messages will then start saying you need to land. Same here for the other ones. So when I draw this back a bit here, yeah, same for the other ones. So I got a cargo alpha object, a cargo beta object, and a cargo gamma object. And I have a beta team and a gamma team in the mission as well, like a group, yeah, like this one. Not very difficult, I think. I mean, you can cut and paste the structure, and if you follow my explanation, you can fill this out yourself with your own object names, and you should be all, you know, very, you know, should be very easy. So this string here is your group name in your mission of your cargo objects, cargo group, and this is the type name of your cargo, which is automatically added in a set cargo if the type names match. And then you give a name to the cargo, and this name is used when you go into the menu and you get the cargo list. Then this name is shown, Team Alpha, Team Beta, Team Gamma, as the name of the cargo to be picked up or deployed. And that's it. So basically here I've created a cargo transport task in, let's say, 4 lines or 5 lines of code. And the funny thing is, you know, because these are objects, I can do this very easily. I make 2 cargo tasks. Here you go. And I'm just, you know, mission 4, instead of engineers, I'm going like cleaning ladies. Yeah, whatever. And, you know, put here cleaning ladies, and, you know, you can do whatever you want. You know, this is the power of the framework. You can make as many objects as you want. Now bear in mind that the transportation, there's a bit of a processing behind, but it's really manageable, I think. It's not like overkill, much less than the task dispatching. You think you should try it and just play with it. So we're not finished yet. So a cargo transport task allows you to pick up cargo, which are these guys here. But you need to transport them to somewhere, don't you? So in our mission here, what we have built is some kind of you know, SA6 launch sites. And let me show you those launch sites where they are. Here, for example, the Moscow side, the Yaroslav Level site, and this one is our Nizhny site. Okay, so I got 3 SAM sites, SA6 with the name. So I search for the group name here, right, and get those, you know, get those group objects defined, and then I define, or I use a zone object which is called zone group within the Moose framework. And the zone group is basically like a, you know, like a zone here, but I'm drawing a virtual zone around the first unit in the group collection, which is going to be this one. This is it? No. Where is the first unit? This one. So this would be the first unit. So it's going to draw a zone of 500 meters around this unit. And that is then being used by the Moose logic to, you know, decide where are you and are you near me or not. So I'm defining 3 zone objects here. They take the name of the zone, just the name, the group object, right, and a radius in meters. That's it. It's all documented. Okay, So, and then what I've done now here is I added in the transport task, if this, we created here with the new constructor a new transport object, which is defined here. And now I can use this object to use an API called addDeployZone. And now I can just say that zone here is a deploy zone for the transport task. So with that I can indicate, remember the menu where I selected fly to the Nizhny, SA6 battery. So that's done here. So that would be this one, right? And the transport, framework or the transport class automatically manages the menus for you, make them available when you need them, and so on and so on. You can add as many deploy zones as you want. This has nothing to do with setting up the goals, but it just defines where are the deploy zones, and then once you select the deploy zone, the transport mechanism will guide you to that deploy zone using the bearing and range information. And later I will put longitude, latitude, or MGRS information in there as well. Okay, so that's that. So this is really the API that you need to use within your mission. I've just explained the mission object here, and this is really where your transport task is defined. This is the code. I haven't really talked about, have the goals been achieved for that task? And how do I set a goal? Well, a goal is basically, what I wanted to achieve was, when you drop a guy, when you fly in near the side and you drop a guy, he would automatically run to that deploy zone, the center, which is near your SA6 site. Then once you get your engineer here, I wanted them to be activated, because when you have a careful look to those SA6 sites, they are late activated and visible before start. They are not activated yet. So what you want to do is you create here using the finite state machine mechanisms, and I really advise you have a closer look to the finite state machines explanations, that you define or catch the cargo deployed event. What is that cargo deployed event? Well, it's basically the following. So basically, when you take your transport task and you do double point, you get a list, and then you can do on after cargo deployed here. So cargo on after cargo deployed is an event that is being fired by the task cargo transport once you drop an infantry near a deploy zone. Then this event is being fired internally, and you can catch the event in your mission design by using this function here, by developing this function here, using exactly the same parameters as are defined here. So basically what I do is, when I code this, right, I do this function cargo transport task double point, and I want to catch the on after deployed event. So once the on after deployed event, the cargo deployed event, is being fired in the task cargo transport class, then the on after, I want to, they're like 4 transitions happening, an on leave state, an on before event, an on after event, and an on enter state. Yeah. Have a look at the finite state machine explanations. There are videos on YouTube for that, in the Moose framework explanations on my Moose channel. But basically I'm catching the on after cargo deployed event, and I just select it, and I have all the parameters listed here. But that still doesn't give me the types of the parameters using the Lua doc here. Yeah. Now, for the moment, the only way how I can get those documents here properly is that you go here on the class, you press F3, and you search in those prototypes here for the on after cargo deployed. It's here. So it says on after transition handler for event cargo deployed. And you copy this. You do Control C, you go back to your mission, and you paste this right in front of your function here. You know, for aesthetics, make it a bit nice. And there you are. You have your prototype to catch the on after cargo deployed. And what you can do now is that the cargo, you know, element is typed. See that? There's a cargo behind here. So I can do on board, for example. Or I can do, you know, what is also very nice, and this is what I'm doing in my logic here. Let me get this a bit away. Let me delete that again, because it's written down below. What I do here is basically, I get the deploy zone here. So what is the deploy zone? Well, the deploy zone is the zone where you have deployed your object, which is going to be one of these three zones you have here. Right? So deploy zone is the, you know, the object contains a zone, which is going to be a zone base. Because it's polymorphic, the zone mechanism, you have functions here like, I don't know, like get, you know, get point fact2, get random points, you know, stuff like that. Anything you can do with zones. So what I do here with the zone is I get the name of the zone, the name that you've given here. This is the name. So you get SA Moskva, for example. And then the cargo name, remember, that's the name of the cargo. Team Alpha, Team Beta, Team Gamma. I'm retrieving here and I'm putting it in a local variable cargo name. And what I'm doing now is I'm sending a string or a message. So the, you know, the command centers, they have APIs to send messages. So I do cc ru double point. Now I can do message to group. And I can say hello world to my group. Or I can say message to coalition. Give me the message to the coalition. And then now, because it's object-oriented, Moose, the Moose framework knows, of course, what is the coalition of the command center, right? So should be, you don't need to give any coalition anymore, because it will just send the messages to his coalition. So I just need to send a message. In this example, hello world would be sent to the red coalition, right? So this is the text that is being sent. A very handy thing here is the string format, which is a standard Lua API or command, which is taken from the C code, right? And this one here is very handy. So you just give your text and you have this %s statements here. So you can just say, give me the whole text, and then using these % parameters in the string, you can then give a variable amount of parameters starting from the second parameter of the string format function with fields, you know, like cargo name, deploy zone name, but you can also give numbers like, you know, threat level or amount of players and stuff like this. Search in the Moose code if you're interested. Do Control H, and search in the Moose workspace that you've set up. Just search for string format, right? There's plenty of examples. Here you go, right? And you can just, you know, look at those examples, right? Okay, so if deploy zone name in my logic, so I got the deploy zone where the cargo was deployed. So if the deploy zone name equals one of the names, the name of this zone, which is SA6 Moskva, then I'm checking, is the SA1, is it there? Yes, it is. That's what this statement means. And is it not is alive, meaning is it dead or is it inactive? Well, let's have a look at the is alive API, because there's something interesting with this one. The isAlive API returns not 2 values, it returns 3 values. It returns true if the group is alive and active. It returns false if the group is alive but not active. And it would return nil, means nothing, if the group does not exist anymore. You know, if it would have disappeared. Dead, in other words. So you can test whether the group is dead or whether the group is inactive with an explicit statement. Is this? Is it false? Because if you do it like this, it can be dead or inactive. Now what I haven't done explicitly is it inactive, because it could be dead as well. Within a running mission, this thing could have been destroyed, and on the counter side, on the blue side, there is a mission to actually, for the blue side, to locate these SA6 sites and to destroy them. So if I don't find them, if I find them and they're alive, then I can activate them. Okay, so this is done for the 3 zones, and this is a very nice API. Is all cargo transported? And this is one of the APIs of the task cargo transport, class. So what is this? It's very simple, but the implementation is very difficult. What it does is it says, do I have at my deploy zones that I've added here, do I have cargo located at each deploy zone? And if it has cargo located at each deploy zone, this will return true. It will return a valid result. And then you can set, these are not so easy statements, right? But then you can set in the self, which is this task, you can set itself to success. This is also, this task has different statuses, so you can do, set yourself to success. Now, I don't know why it is not doing that properly. Oh, yeah, I know, because you're not in the, yeah, okay, fine. So I need to, or you can do just this, it really doesn't matter. The self keyword is the first hidden parameter that's given, but you could do, no, you really need to have this here, self double point success. And the reason why this doesn't work is because you need to do this. You need to have tasking, task cargo, like this. Now it will work. Right. So now you can just say, what is, success flags the tasks to the state success. Right. Another thing is, because your task is successful, that doesn't mean that your mission is successful. And you can set with this command your mission to complete. So here, your mission is also a state machine. You have different APIs, and the complete state is done like this. Okay. Try it out. And it's a challenge, because there are many SAMs in there trying to hit you. And for training purposes, I've added this class here in the Moose framework. You got a missile trainer, which basically will track, upcoming missiles to your helicopter. It will show it when there's a missile fired, so you can get below for training purposes. So I really hope, this was a long video and I apologize in advance. So I really hope you found the new additions to the Moose framework interesting enough. Now these classes here are not ready to be used immediately from day one into, not today, into the Moose framework. You will need to wait until release 2.1 is being released, which is going to be released soon. And release 2.1 will not only bring a lot of capabilities for cargo transportation, There's also a lot of bug fixing done. There are improvements made to the task dispatching mechanisms, which I still need to explain. Now, the main purpose here was to explain in this video how do I make a mission, a GORI Valet mission that I've had on my shelf for a long time. I just picked it up, and well, this concludes, I think, the episode of cargo transportation. Just a small note, I will have to do the same on the blue side. So on the blue side I have Patriot batteries, and I will have to define the same setup there, which I will have done for iteration 5. In iteration 5, I think we'll get into a bit of details on how to set up escorting. So planes that will escort your flight when you start attacking one of those targets. Or another thing that I could maybe explain is the designation, which means lasing targets automatically. Just note that this battlefield here, right, is a dynamic battlefield with ground targets. You don't know where they are really, and the designation, will be able to assist you in lasing any upcoming target from wreckage that are spread out in the battlefield here. So I hope you enjoy this, and thank you, and really post on the YouTube channel any feedback you have or suggestions. Thank you very much. Bye bye.